Welcome, Chantal and Kim. This is one of those beautiful moments where we actually have a client as part of our video in the series of the Power of Hypnosis. Not everybody has the courage or whatever it takes. So thank you, Kim, for doing this together with Chantal. And Chantal, you actually been in practice for a good 9 years now. So you're one of the veterans in the 20 years. Can you believe it? So you mentioned to me that you right from when you were studying that you had a fascination with past life regression.
Yes.
And that possibly for that reason you attract those kind of clients.
I think that's exactly what's happening, because it piqued me right from the training days.
Really?
I was fascinated with past life work, followed on by soul journey work.
Yes.
And it seems to be the niche that I've seemingly gone in, not necessarily with conscious thought,
yes,
but it's happened anyway.
Yes. But I mean, this is just proving the point that what we emit as a vibration, as a frequency, is what we get back, you know?
Yes.
So if you have a fascination for that, yeah, it's no wonder.
Yes.
And then you say that many, you say, if not most of your clients, you find that actually they have the root of their issues in past lives.
Yes. Well, you know, I've just done such a lot of reading and research in addition to what you trained us on at SAIH.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know, I constantly read and research on it. And I came to the conclusion, rightly or wrongly, but seemingly rightly, that so many, or if not all, of the issues that we are struggling with in this life are actually rooted in a past life. Mm-hmm. So because I am open to that and so passionate about it, I'm always keeping that space open within my sessions for the possibility that that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
And it just seems that most of the time we do. I mean, there obviously are times we don't go into past lives.
Yeah.
And usually I suppose that's because there is no root for that particular issue in a past life. But I would say most of the time we seem to do it.
That's amazing.
So it seems that a lot of the issues we are rooted in past lives, yes.
Yes.
And they get really good results from the work.
I bet you do. As much as I would like to discuss the philosophy of past life more, maybe one more question. Do you ever have clients that didn't really believe in past life and still found they're the root of their problems in a past life?
Absolutely, they spontaneously pop into a past life. You know, because I never want to work, I mean, you've trained us on that. I never want to work against clients' beliefs.
Yes.
So, you know, unless a client has specifically said, I definitely do not want to go into a past life, then I will never, ever frame my suggestions around the possibility of doing that. But even those who don't actually believe have gone into past lives. And often, you know, even once they have, they may still not believe it. Most of the time they're amazed, and it probably switches their belief. A lot of the time they still are questioning it, and they think that possibly they're making it up. My answer to that is, why are you making such specific detail up then? Where is this coming from? But of course, I also always respond by saying, whether it's your imagination or whether it's not, the healing will result, because the subconscious will still respond in the same way.
Yeah.
And then they're actually, I think, more comfortable with the idea of possibly popping into a past life. And then maybe that opens it up for them. But yes, I've often had that happen.
Yes, amazing. So let's hop right into this session that you did with Kim. Who of you wants to, maybe you, Chantal, as the facilitator, should give us why was this attempted, and what kind of experience did you visit, and with what results?
So maybe I will just talk about what Kim wanted to do this for. She's a very good hypnotic subject. And I knew that because she had previous sessions. She's had a few sessions with Bianca before I worked with her. And I might even have done 1 or 2 sessions before that hadn't involved past life. I can't remember now. But one of the issues that Kim has struggled with in the past has been an issue where, well, it presented as depression and anxiety, but when we chunked it down, it was very much around this belief that she simply wasn't good enough. She wasn't up to scratch. And there was this constant drive for perfection, wanting to do things perfectly, wanting to be perfect, wanting to look perfect, that sort of issue. That is how it was presented. So with that, we then just simply followed the emotions of anxiety and depression. Kind of, they were going together. You know, sometimes, well, often the two emotions are going together. So we followed that. And I think maybe you want to pick it up from here as to what happened.
I popped into my most recent life, and my mom asked, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in America." And I was in class studying to be a doctor. So I was in college in America. And I was a man. My name was John. And I was already anxious there. And I realized that my mother at the time was sick and she had cancer and she was dying, and there was no real cure for her kind of cancer. And I kind of had this like feeling of, I'm studying to be this doctor so that I can save people's lives, but I can't save my own mother's life.
Yes.
And then we skipped to the next experience, and I was getting married to my wife. And yeah, I can remember her. She had like this dark hair with a little bob. And yeah, I just remember the wedding. It's so strange. Like, it's like it was right there.
What time frame are we talking about? Like when you say your most recent life, 100 years ago, or?
No, it was in the 70s.
No ways. Okay.
Yeah, I think I died in the 70s. Yeah. Yeah. So it was my last life before this one. And so I was getting married, and then the next event that we went to was my mother's funeral, and that was very, very sad. And still this feeling of I couldn't do anything. There was nothing I could do. You know, feeling very hopeless. And what am I making my whole life about if I can't save my own family?
Yes.
And then the next episode that we went to, it was like quite shocking. My wife and daughter had just been in a car accident, and I was a surgeon, and I was the surgeon on duty, and they were rushed into the emergency room. And I just remember these lights flickering, and my wife was taken off to one room, and my daughter was in front of me on the table, and I couldn't save her. And I lost my wife and my daughter. And I kind of carried on in that life, and I was just very, very depressed and lost and lonely, very lonely. And when we went to the next episode, I was actually about to kill myself. I was going to commit suicide by taking pills. And I did. I took the pills, and then I had that experience of dying and rising all the way up. And as I was rising up, I realized I shouldn't have done this. I'm stepping in where I didn't need to, and I'm supposed to learn the lessons that this life has given me, and I shouldn't have done this. And I was also feeling really bad that I'd left my father, who was also alone and had lost everyone, and now he was going to lose me as well. But I didn't go to hell for committing suicide. You know, I realized that it was the wrong thing to do, but it was done now, and I kind of had to forgive myself. And
okay.
Yeah.
Let me just explain that to whoever is watching or listening to this. So when we facilitate these kind of sessions, we like Chantal did it, picture book. So we go from wherever the client enters into a past life. We go usually forward in time, closer to the death in that lifetime. And then we very often, if not always, are able to observe the dying scene. And I mean, look what you came with these realization that suicide wasn't a solution, but you died anyway. You had taken it. So from the death moment, we're still in the same session, but we call it from there on, we call it a soul journey. So you noticed how your soul left your body, or how would you describe this?
So you're just really light, and it's almost like you're just rising higher and higher and higher, and you can just see everything and understand everything. It's a very strange, yeah, it's just like you're connected to everything, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, what would you call it, your guide?
Yeah, we first did some karmic cleansing, remember?
Yeah.
We left all of the loneliness and the sadness and all of that behind.
Yeah, we left it all behind. And then, yeah, a guide came and took me up to the happy place. And that was really incredible. Most of my family are in my soul group, so they were all there. And it was just this really beautiful light and love experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're touching on so many things. I don't know where to start. But the one thing is that when we when clients go into a past life, there is nothing really we can do as a facilitator, because things have happened and we can't change them. It's, you know, sometimes the re-experience, the reliving brings a tremendous amount of understanding, which in your case, you know, see your mother in that life die, your wife and your child die, and you as a doctor were helpless in that situation. I think this is enough traumatic frequency to carry over another lifetime. And then once we are on a soul journey, then a lot of work can happen. That's why I often think that the soul journey part of these sessions is almost more important than the actual past life, you know?
I agree with you, Claudia.
Yes,
Very
yes.
much so.
So Chantal, you then did some techniques, and we don't have to go into detail, to clean the karma, so to speak.
Yes,
Take some of the
process, going through the screen with the filter,
yes,
which leaving behind what you know want to carry along with, which she did beautifully. And I love, you know, you shared with us sending that stuff that they leave behind up into the universe to be converted into a positive energy. I always use that, and clients respond so well to it.
Yes.
And something that you know, when you're doing regression that does not involve a past life, and you're going to the initial sensitizing experience, and then we're doing the inner child work and the gestalt work. And of course, one can't really do that if you're going into a past life. You kind of leave that part because you've now popped into the past life and now moving forward in the past life. And that was always something that I thought there's something left unfinished here. So what I do now is I guide clients on a soul journey, and when they are in their soul group, I guide them to wherever their soul group is, or the guide that is guiding them guides them there. And then I use that moment that opportunity to do the same type of work as we would have done in this current life, but in soul state.
Okay.
And it's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful.
Can you explain? Yeah, can you explain a little what you mean by that?
So, for example, you know, they would have come in initially in the pre-talk, they would have told me quite a lot about traumatic experiences and emotional experiences that they've had to deal with and issues that they've had with other people in their lives. And of course, I've written all of this down. So say, for example, somebody had a really authoritative father who was always criticizing them, blah, blah, blah. And now we're in soul state. Now, the interesting thing is that you can see all your souls who are even currently alive on earth. You can see them in the spiritual realm, because we always seem to leave a portion of soul energy in that space. Yeah. So they see everyone in their soul group there. So I would actually then get quite directed, and I would say, now is your father there in your soul group?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Let's let him come forward now. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to now have a conversation with him. I think you need to confront him. I think you need to tell him, da 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 da. And I really do this well. Get it off your chest. He's just listening.
I get you. Yeah.
Now, say what you need to say. Then we give him a chance to respond. And of course, this is soul stuff. It's not human, it's soul stuff. So it's very, very powerful. So the soul is actually giving responses that the human might not. Sure. And the other thing that's also very powerful in this space is recognizing the soul agreements that have been entered into. Because we usually have entered into soul agreements with the various people in our souls in our soul group, and we have chosen those difficult experiences as a soul before we came into them, so that we would learn certain things and develop certain skills. And that realization I find is extremely powerful, because you know, they immediately flip from feeling like the victim that they have up until now into immediately it's much more empowered position, because, oh, I chose this. And this is what I chose this. And we talk about how brave it is and how courageous it is, all the rest of it. That is extremely powerful.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that.
That's really, really beneficial.
Yes. So Kim, so what happened for you, and is your issue less strong, or is it completely released, or what was the outcome for you with the session that you had with Chantal?
Yeah, it's definitely so much better. I mean, obviously you still have times where you can get a little bit anxious, but it's chalk and cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you have any, did you recognize any people in that life that you are living with in this life?
Actually, my mom was my daughter who died.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been a realization. How was that feeling for you, Chantal?
It's quite mind-blowing, actually. But what she also realized in that session was that apparently we are primary soulmates.
Okay.
You know, we also have a primary soulmate. That's the one that goes through most of our lives with us, with a very strong connection to them. Not always a romantic connection.
No. Yeah.
A romantic connection. Very often not. And often we're learning our most lessons through that particular relationship. So she realized in that session that we are primary soulmates. So I think we've probably been through many lives together. Yeah,
most probably you will. Wow, this is super fascinating. Kim, is there anything else you want to add?
Yes. So that was it. You want me to say it? Okay, so there was, when she was in her soul group, all her grandparents had already passed. But now she was being able to communicate with them in this experience. And it just occurred to me to say, are any of them going to reincarnate again in this current life, in some kind of relationship to you?
Yes. And
she was quiet for a while, And then she said, yes, Grandpa's coming back. And I said, well, what relationship will he be to you? And she said, he'll be my little boy.
No
She has a 3-month-old son.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, we can see it.
No, it's my grandpa. He's absolutely my grandpa.
This is unbelievable. You know, when you read, especially, you know, those authors that have made themselves a name, some of them seem to put the soul journey, they call it different, but they seem to squeeze it into a blueprint, like what happens to us when the body is obsolete, the journey thereafter has certain steps. I could not substantiate it with my own experience. I find that many aspects are unique to the client. Do you think that's similar for you, Chantal?
Yes, sometimes I'm guiding to a certain structure that I'll usually try and keep to, and then they'll be going off in different directions. And I just know that I need to go with them. Yes. I need to follow where they're taking the session, where the subconscious is taking the session. Sometimes I simply can't be the one trying to keep to a structure. Sometimes I can. Most of the time I just let it flow.
Yes.
And then surprise what results.
Yes. Oh, this is fantastic. How I would like to close is there are other modalities other than hypnosis or hypnotherapy. And of course, we're talking about non-medical hypnotherapy when we talk about it, because we don't diagnose or treat or prescribe. But if you don't have a proper trance depth, which you can only get really by being guided into the state, unless you're one of those few people that can really do it by themselves, or sometimes it could happen spontaneous that somebody goes into a light trance. But I would like to say, and want to hear your opinion, Chantal, if somebody wants to have a proper past life regression, I would definitely always seek out somebody who really knows their hypnosis work, because otherwise it becomes just a story or a movie, and then the benefits are questionable. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I seem to have a lot of people who have told me about previous past life experiences with other therapists.
Yes.
And very often, it's just simply a case of going to the experiences and then bringing the person back from hypnosis.
Yeah.
And I do understand, and I do believe that there is healing that can result from simply going back to an experience and experiencing the ab reaction and so on. But I don't believe the full healing is going to occur unless we can guide that.
Yes.
Leaving what they need to leave behind from that life. All of that sort of thing. I think that's important. Yes. And I think you're going to get that from a therapist who's not properly trained. Yes. I think it's a very responsible position to be in, to be guiding some past life regression.
Responsible and also a great privilege, because I don't know how it is for you, but lots of my life questions or afterlife questions have been softened, if not resolved, by observing my clients doing their journies. You know, for example, fear of death is virtually dissolved.
Yeah.
Because it's just like being born, you know, it's just
In fact, Kim says that he gets quite jealous now. Hey, what were you saying the other day? You get jealous about
that they get to go to the happy place.
She's experienced it now, and when she hears that someone's posh, she thinks, oh, they're so lucky.
Beautiful. I thank you both. Thank you. I think this is a wonderful summary of what happened, very educational. Thank you both for your time, and I hope there's lots of people who have benefit from watching this.
And I would just like to thank you for inspiring me to take this on, because it's because of you, it's because of SAIH that I have embarked on this, what do I call it, calling? And it brings me great joy every day.
It's amazing that we can live our passion, huh?
very
I
lucky to
agree
be
with you.